So let's begin by just going over the rules of the design. Stippling has a very simple rule, and that is stitch a wiggly line that doesn't cross itself. So the very simplest and easiest way you can interpret this is as a set of wiggly U shapes. So you just wiggle, create a curve, then immediately go into another curve. Just keep it nice and smooth. So that's really the simplest way that you can stitch stippling. Honestly, I covered an entire quilt with exactly this design when I was first getting started. But the key to making it look like meandering, like a wiggly design, is to start making it more complex. And you do that by adding bends. So here I've bent to the left, and then now I'm going to wiggle out this way, and then curve in. So it's really just a matter of stitching curving shapes and trying not to work yourself into a corner where you'd end up having to stitch either the lines closer together or you'd have to cross. So let's talk about some of the shapes that you can stitch in stippling. And you want to think about this like learning how to write in cursive. If you practice these shapes, then it'll be just exactly like writing your name. You know, your name is a combination of different shapes. If we write the word quilting in cursive, then the Q and the U connect together in that unique way. So I'm going to rotate this around. I always like stitching in rows like this right across my quilting space. So I like to quilt from left to right. That's just what feels most comfortable for me. So play around with that and see what feels most comfortable for you. So one of the shapes I like to stitch in stippling, kind of like call it the Y or peace sign. You just form that wiggle shape and then you immediately stitch another one right next to it. Then wiggle up in that space that you've left and stitch another one. You could also think it's kind of like a heart shape, and you see how it's mirrored on both sides. So here I'm stitching down, stitch that same shape again one more time. But you see I have this gap here, and I want to nest these two rows together. So this is where you can start thinking about, all right, I want to make this more complex. How do I do that? A very simple way of doing that is just wiggle down and into that space. Curve out, and then maybe go into another little curve shape, just like that. So repeating different shapes is a really good idea. Here's one I call the claw. So it's like a little curve, and then you kind of claw, you curl around that little shape. Here I've got just this little bit of space, so I'm just going to curl in, and then basically echo quilt my way all the way out. And that'll form the next row, filling in this little square. So now I'm going to rotate again, and I do like to rotate my quilt just exactly this much, even when I'm working on something bigger. Another thing you can keep in mind is that whatever your boundary line is, whether it's a marked line like mine or it's your stitching in the ditch lines, you can always connect with that and travel stitch down, and that's a-okay. So let's try that claw shape again, now going in a different direction. You stitch a little curve and then stitch down, and kind of like you're almost spiraling around it. You're kind of surrounding it with a nice long curving shape. I even named, whenever you just stitch these long curving shapes, I call that alien fingers. So that's another way of the design. You could just take stippling and stitch much longer shapes, and you'll end up with an entirely different effect. So that's enough practice. As you can see, there's lots of different ways you can quilt this design. You can start with those really simple wiggly U shapes. That's a great place to start. And then as you make it more complex, just add bends and wiggles and interconnect your rows together so it forms the design. Now let's jump on a real quilt so we can get more practice quilting stippling. So I'm getting started on this baby quilt, and I forgot to go over the very beginning. You always want to pull up your thread tails to the surface. So I'm going to drop my needle down, bring it all the way back up again to the point where the needle is starting to drop back down again. Then I give that top thread a tug and it pulls up a loop. That loop is your bobbin. So bring that up to the surface so that way that back thread, that bobbin thread, doesn't make a mess on the back of your quilt. I do that every single time I start stitching, and I keep those thread tails about 3 to 4 inches long so that way I can tie them off and bury them in the middle layer of the quilt securely when I'm done. Okay, so now I'm right here in the corner, and I'm going to fill this entire space in with stippling. and I want to stitch on a 1/2 inch scale. So we haven't talked about this yet. Scale is the distance between your lines of quilting. So basically it's kind of a rough estimate from this line to this line. That's a little bit bigger than a 1/2 inch, but I'm going to aim to keep that distance consistent throughout the square. So I'm going to form that design. We're going to just form some simple wiggly U shapes. And then now maybe I'll kind of bend it around just to make it a little bit more interesting. Sometimes when you're first getting started, you just kind of have to get the feel for your quilt, how quickly you can move it. And please don't feel like you have to go fast. Watch, you can go slow. Here I'm running my machine slowly. It's going up and down very slowly, so I'm moving my hands slowly too. I really like using quilting gloves like I'm wearing because it helps me grip the quilt and move it really smoothly and evenly no matter what speed I'm going. But you might find that you naturally want to speed up. I mean, it's a design that, especially when you're stitching really simple wiggly U shapes or these repetitive peace signs, these Y shapes, you know, you can put your foot down and want to go faster. So what you want to do is just make sure that you have some space to stitch into. So shift things around, you know, move the quilt so you can see where you're stitching. And don't get confused by the straight lines on this quilt. I have basted it using water-soluble thread here, and that's what those lines are. So that's just holding the layers of the quilt together securely so I don't have to have pins all over it. Okay, so now that I have nice big space, I can put my foot down and think about that design, stitching curving, wiggling shapes that don't cross them over. And with that in mind, I can kind of speed up. You can see how much faster I'm running the machine and how much faster I'm moving the quilt around too. So you can see I did form more or less a repetitive set of shapes here, and that's okay. I don't think anyone's going to look at your quilt closely enough to go, oh wow, you're just repeating yourself over and over again. You know, no one will really be able to tell, because now we're going to go and stitch a row, another row below this, and we're going to lock the two together. So really it's going to look like a totally free-form random design. And part of that comes in of making sure that you're stitching of different shapes. So here I'm going to wiggle up with just a single curve, come back down, and maybe I'll wiggle something nice and long right around here. You kind of just have to make it up. But one thing that can get in your way is the front of the machine, also the quilt itself. And I find sometimes I just need to do a little rotation, be able to see what I'm doing, and then I can more easily lock these two rows together. So here in this case, I stitched a row from left to right, and then I'm now rotating the quilt so I can stitch straight down towards myself. So this is a very common way that I rotate my quilt so I can see better. It was just a 90-degree turn, so it wasn't a big deal. I didn't have to do a lot of shifting or bunching of the quilt on the machine. You know, I was just able to swing it around and get back to quilting. But that's the thing about quilting on a home sewing machine. You are going to continually need to shift and manipulate the quilt so that way it can move really easily. So here I'm forming the design, and this is just kind of my own random pattern, but I have a little gap here. I want to make sure I don't forget about that. So I'm going to stitch down and into that area, swing around, but not too far. I don't want to go in and cross my lines of quilting. Now sneak back out of there. So that is it for quilting on a home machine. Now let's take this design and learn how to stitch stippling using the Longarm. So here is my Longarm. This is the Grace Unique 14 Plus, and I have it here on the Continuum frame. So this is an entirely different style of quilting from home machine quilting, where instead of moving the quilt underneath the needle, I'm going to be moving the machine. So let's get back to stippling and see how this works on the Longarm. So let's get started here. I've been getting a little bit of practice going because I wanted to make sure I could stitch this design fairly good. I'm still just learning how to quilt on this machine. So let's begin with some wiggly U shapes. I'm just wiggling back away from myself and then wiggling towards myself. I'm trying to move the machine as evenly as I can and not jerk it around. It does feel very different because, of course, I'm able to move the machine and I don't have to stop and reposition my quilt or do anything like that. I'm just focusing on forming that design. And really, the biggest key here is just making sure that this spacing stays even. So I'm trying to make sure that the lines roughly stay about 1/2 inch apart. And I think that's really the ultimate key. That's really what makes it look good. So now let's try some of those peace signs or rabbit ears. I'm going to loop back. And I'm going to do a little curve there. Now I'm going to come towards me and do 2 little curves. Just like that. It's really nice to play with repetitive shapes like this because, of course, moving the machine side to side is really easy. And you can just work down the length of your quilt or your fabric and just repeat the same shape over and over again. You get a lot of good practice. Repetition, I think, is the key. No matter which machine you're stitching on, no matter what style of quilting you're doing, repetition is really the key that's going to teach you how to quilt the design and memorize those shapes and how they go together. And also, how it's going to work on your quilt, how it's going to actually fit and fill around your quilt blocks or in your sashing or borders, anything like that. So now I'm trying out a totally free-form, random stippling. You can see I form the shapes nice and smooth. Every once in a while I'll jerk a little bit, and that's just me getting used to moving the machine and trying to move it smoothly. The nice thing is, I hope you can see that the stitches remain completely consistent. And that is something called a Stitch Regulator. And this is something I only have on my Longarm. I don't have this on my home machine at all. But basically what it does is it looks at the speed that I'm moving the machine, and it helps to control how fast the needle is going up and down based on how fast I'm moving the machine. And it will increase the speed of the needle moving down if I move the machine faster. So that way the stitches stay roughly consistent. And you can actually set the length that you want on the machine. So here I've set 16 stitches per inch. I like a really nice tight stitch length. So this is 16 stitches per inch, and you can see it maintains it even when I stitch fast, even when I kind of let the machine go a little bit, then it still maintains those nice consistent stitches. And that's really nice. I gotta say, I have never used a Stitch Regulator on a home machine, mostly because I felt like it really is something that you can learn through practice and trial and error. You can learn how to balance the speed of your machine with the movement of your hands. But stitching on the Longarm, it just feels very easy, and there's a lot less to worry about. All I have to worry about really here is forming that design, keeping the lines consistently spaced, and moving the Longarm nice and smooth and evenly. So that's it for this video. I hope you learned a lot quilting stippling with me today. It doesn't matter what type of machine you're quilting on, whether it's a home sewing machine or on a Longarm, the rules of the design remain the same. Stitch a wiggly line that doesn't cross itself. It's just a matter of practicing those simple shapes and you'll get the hang of this design. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube so you don't miss the next video coming out soon. Until next time, let's go quilt!